Hey folks, and welcome to the second chapter in my 12-part series on video production for small business owners and nonprofits. In teaching this class, I wanted to use a small business as an example in order to show you how you can create a commercial to advertise your business. In the end chapters of this series, I'm going to teach you how to upload your commercial to YouTube, link it up with Google AdWords, and ultimately make it so that when people in local, targeted zip codes are watching YouTube videos, they see your commercial as the ad that plays before other videos. Today we are headed to North Truro, Massachusetts, where we are going to meet Josiah Mayo and Katie Reed, who are the owners of a small business called Chequessett Chocolate. Now, just in case you're wondering why I decided to profile this business, let's put it this way. If you're about to spend the next several chapters editing footage, it might as well be to this. We are going to film this commercial using only an iPhone 12, the Apogee Clip Mic Digital 2 microphone, and the Zhiyun Smooth Q3 gimbal. Those of you who are taking my course through Thinkific will gain access to that footage in the next chapter. In the last chapter, I showed you the microphone that we're going to be using, and now I would like to teach you how to set your audio levels. I wanted to cover this at the beginning of this chapter because if your levels peak out, meaning if they get too loud, it's almost impossible to repair it in post-production. The corresponding app to the Clip Mic Digital 2 is called Meta Recorder, and just as a reminder, you can download that for free from the App Store. After you have your mic connected to your iPhone and attached to your subject, the first thing that you're going to want to do is tap on where it says Record/Play here at the bottom. Now we're going to use this little slider to set the levels. When most people speak, they have a vocal range of around 6 decibels. So what we want to do is make sure when we set those levels that we have plenty of headroom. At this point, you're going to need to ask the person who's going to be speaking on camera to start to talk, but whatever you do, do not tell them to count to 10. The reason why is a lot of people speak a lot quieter when they're simply counting compared to when they're telling a story. So rather than having them count to 10, what I would recommend you do is ask them a question that totally distracts them from what they're doing. Here is what to look for when setting the levels. You want to make sure that this colored bar never goes into the red. Your golden zone is right here around -12 decibels. And that way, if the person speaking on camera does have a moment where they raise their voice, you still have a good amount of room before they peak. It's also really important when placing the microphone to try to get it as close as possible to the person's mouth. That will also help prevent from picking up too much background noise. Thank you for watching, everyone. We'll be right back. Anytime you are creating a video, there are two very simple things that you should try to do right off the bat. Those two items are to record around 30 seconds of room tone, and whoever is speaking on camera should hold up a white piece of paper for around 5 seconds. Now, these two steps may be overkill for some of you, but I still wanted to mention it. Room tone does a couple of different things for us. It allows us to get a baseline reading for the room, and also if we need to make certain types of edits down the road, it gives us the ability to patch those moments. White balancing is basically our way of telling the computer how to correctly interpret colors. And more than anything, this is really helpful when it comes to making sure that your skin tones are accurate. I would like to talk a little bit about a few different approaches that you can take when creating your own commercial. Anytime I'm filming someone, especially if they're not a professional actor, it's always a good idea to try to play to someone's strengths. When it comes to appearing on camera, most people fall into one of 4 groups. The first group are people who are total naturals on camera. These are the folks that you can throw on camera, ask them to talk about their business, and they deliver the goods every time. They don't use the words or when they speak, and their expressions are always authentic. Let me give you an example. This is what happened when I asked Katie to speak about the business. And just to be clear, none of this part was scripted. Go for it.
Hi, I'm Katie Reed. I'm one of the co-owners of Chequessett Chocolate, a craft chocolate workshop on Cape Cod. We make bean-to-bar chocolates starting from single origin cacao beans. We make a line of bars, as you can see behind us. Come on down to our cafe where you can try a line of our drinking chocolates, hot cocos, and George Howell coffee beverages. While you're here, you can view the craft chocolate making process. It's really cool to sip on a drinking chocolate and view all of the machinery grinding right here in this space. You'll learn a lot about how chocolate's made and the process that goes into it.
When I switched the microphone to Josiah and asked him to do the same thing, it was pretty clear to me that he was not quite as comfortable with being on camera. Let's see how that went.
Hi, my name's Josiah Mayo, and we are Chequessett Chocolate. We're a small batch bean-to-bar craft chocolate maker on Cape Cod here in North Truro, and we focus on craft chocolate. So we make chocolate in small batches from the bean, and we focus.
This leads me into the second group. People who can do well on camera, but they perform a lot better if they have a line or two that is scripted for them that they can just recite on camera, and hopefully not make it sound like they're reciting it. The third group of people are those who, for whatever reason, just don't feel comfortable appearing on camera, which is fine, and they do feel comfortable enough to give a voiceover. The fourth category are people who hate being on camera and also hate the sound of their own voice. And on a serious note, let me just say this. If you do fall into that last category, this is where websites like Fiverr can be a godsend. It's basically a website where you can pay people to do things for you, including voiceovers. At this point, I'm going to go ever so slightly off topic and just throw an idea at you. You can take it or leave it. It's not going to be for everyone, but just let this idea just kind of simmer on the back burner of your brain. Our goal with this commercial is to create the type of ad that people do not skip after 5 seconds. In the last chapter, we talked about the importance of including several images of local identifiable landmarks and putting those images at the beginning of your commercial in order to grab the audience's attention. Well, one of the other ways that we can grab people's attention is by making them laugh. I don't know about you, but if I saw a commercial that opened with a local landmark, shows me a local business, and then I hear the voiceover of someone who sounds a little bit like Morgan Freeman, I'm gonna watch that commercial. Now, as you know, I like assigning fun homework, so if you were to have a celebrity voice over your commercial, who would you go with? Let me know about it. If you're watching me on YouTube, let me know down below in the comments. And if you're watching on Thinkific, it's in a question that follows this class. What I would like to do is now show you what happened next in the filming process. Now, just to recap, Josiah and Katie have both spoken on camera about their business. We never ever used a script. But I have identified that Katie seems to have a certain knack for being on camera. So what I'm going to do at this point is have her walk me through the process of making chocolate. What I'm really doing here is I'm looking to capture those little bits of video and audio that we can ultimately string together and merge with the clip that I showed you earlier. That way we can create this really nice blend of information and a little bit of entertainment. Let's take a look at how that segment went.
All right, so this is so cool because what I'm about to show you is how all chocolate is made. Every Hershey's bar or Milky Way that you've ever eaten all starts from a cacao bean. So this is what a bean looks like. This round kind of roasted almond looking thing has a husk on it, and this is how we get the beans here to Cape Cod. So we go down to the farms in Costa Rica and Ecuador, Peru, Madagascar, and we source the cacao. We bring it back here, we roast it, and then we crack it. So if you break this bean apart, there's a thin papery husk, and then what's inside here is the nib of the cacao bean. This is what correlates to percentage. So when you see a chocolate bar at 72%, it means that there's 72% of this, and then 28% is going to be the sugar content. So let me show you what this looks like. After we roast the cacao and we winnow it, we end up with cacao nibs. And this is what we grind into chocolate. All right, So here you can see it grinding, and this process goes on for 5 days. It's just refining the particle size so that it's really smooth and creamy when you go to eat it. All right, so this is what chocolate looks like before it gets tempered. You can see that it has this kind of crazy texture on it. We're gonna go into the other room now. We're gonna put it through a tempering curve where we're gonna take this and turn it into a nice shiny bar of chocolate. All right, this is where the magic happens. All right, for your I Love Lucy moment here, we get Lucille ball action here on our conveyor belt. So we've got a fountain of chocolate, and we go ahead and we put all of our confections here. Toffee, peppermint patties, almond joys, make amazing caramel cashew turtles with a little bit of well-flavored sea salt. All that runs through the belt here, and when it comes out, it's gonna have this appearance where it's gonna have that nice chocolate look that you're accustomed to. So this is a really behind the scenes look at how we do our transfer sheets of our bonbons. So this morning we've been making chocolate all day, and you can see here that this looks like a temporary tattoo. This is chocolate printed on a really special printer that has cocoa butter cartridges, where it prints the temporary tattoo into a transfer sheet and it makes that design. Now, a lot of people think that we take tiny paintbrushes and paint this, but I'm giving you guys the behind the scenes look. This is how we do it. All right, so you go ahead when that is all set up, you remove it, and you've got a nice, beautiful nautical design there.
Thank you for watching, everyone. We will be right back after this brief commercial break. In the previous chapter, we talked a little bit about using the different camera modes in your iPhone in order to create a variety of different shots. One of those types of shots that I mentioned is motion time-lapse, and I would like to dive into that a little bit deeper. The first tip is you really need to lock down the gimbal whenever you're capturing these types of shots. So you can either use the legs on the bottom, or you can attach it to something like a tripod, and preferably a tripod that has a little bit of weight to it, especially if you're filming outside. First step, anytime you're creating a motion time lapse, is you need to make sure that the gimbal is in lock mode. Otherwise, it won't work. That's the little L icon here in the front. Just tap the mode button to go into it. Then when you launch the Zycami app, swipe over until you get to time lapse, and now we're going to tap on the little arrow that you see here at the top center of the screen. Here where it says interval, we can swipe left or right in order to adjust how often it will capture an image. If we go over to duration, we can tell it how long we want this process to take. And here where it says path, we're going to tap on that. And as you can see here, it has now switched from time-lapse into motion time-lapse. Now, all we need to do is use the joystick to tell it where we want the shot to start. Then when you have it set up, tap the little plus symbol, then use the joystick to move it to a different frame, and then tap the plus symbol again. When you're done, all you need to do is tap the record button. Before we wrap up this lesson, I wanted to give you a little preview of what you'll find in the next chapter. Anytime you are creating a video using Final Cut Pro, it is absolutely critical that you have your footage organized. When you've completed a video project, or if you ever need to move it to an external hard drive, you want to make sure that those files are all together. Otherwise, you have to go through this really painful process of relinking files. I will show you how to do it, but it's best if you can avoid it. I've also got a fantastic downloadable gift for those of you out there who have chosen to support my small business by taking my course through Thinkific. This gift is not only going to help you organize the footage for the commercial we're about to create, it's also going to help you anytime you need to create your own content in the future. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. This is David A. Cox with Tech Talk America. Class dismissed.